The Amazon is home to creatures so strange they seem invented. Fish that generate electricity. Parasites that turn living bodies into hosts. Snakes powerful enough to crush jaguars. But some stories from the jungle describe animals so enormous, so bizarre, they sound less like biology. It's more like something prehistoric still hiding in the dark. Most are dismissed as legend. Yet again and again, the Amazon has turned myth into discovery. So what happens when explorers ask a more unsettling question? Are there creatures in the Amazon that should not exist? Deep beneath the jungle canopy, where millions of species compete, evolution has had endless time to experiment. In places barely studied, hidden rivers, flooded forests, and isolated ecosystems create unique conditions. Scientists estimate countless Amazon species remain undocumented. Many may be microscopic, some may be extraordinary. Perhaps a few may challenge what we think can survive in the modern world. One of the oldest legends concerns giant serpents, not ordinary anacondas, but monstrous snakes described in indigenous stories as river spirits large enough to overturn boats. For centuries, outsiders laughed. Then anacondas, over 20 feet long, were confirmed. Suddenly, myth looked less impossible, but reports persisted of much larger creatures glimpsed in remote swamps. Some described bodies thicker than tree trunks. Others spoke of wakes moving through blackwater channels, like submerged trains. Most likely exaggeration. Yet where giants already exist, exaggeration is uncomfortably close to plausibility. Then there is the legend of the Mapinguari, a creature feared in Amazon folklore. Descriptions vary: massive, foul-smelling, powerful enough to tear through forest. Sometimes said to resemble a giant ground sloth. That last detail startled zoologists. Because giant ground sloths once existed, they were thought extinct for thousands of years. Could memory of ancient megafauna survive in legend? Probably. Could some relic populations survive unnoticed? Highly unlikely, but impossible. The Amazon has made scientists cautious about using that word. In the 20th century, reports surfaced about oversized electric eels capable of stunning horses. At first dismissed. Then researchers documented powerful species far beyond previous assumptions. Some could generate shocking voltages strong enough to incapacitate prey. Once again, the unbelievable became fact, only smaller than rumor suggested. But some mysteries remain unsolved. Consider giant catfish. The Amazon holds species large enough to reach astonishing sizes. Yet fishermen tell stories of creatures far larger than documented records. Fish capable of dragging canoes, shapes moving in deep channels where sonar struggles. Most stories grow in the telling, yet river monsters exist often enough to make disbelief less comfortable. One explorer described seeing a dark form surface beside his canoe, too broad for an anaconda, too smooth for driftwood, vanishing before he understood. Hallucination, misidentification, perhaps, but such stories accumulate, and there are creatures science barely understands. In flooded forests, there are fish that breathe air. Frogs carrying toxins potent enough to kill. Insects controlling hosts in ways resembling science fiction. The real Amazon often feels impossible already, which makes the unknown even stranger. Some researchers speculate isolated Amazon refuges may hold lineages surviving in unusual forms. Not dinosaurs hiding in swamps as sensational myths claim, but relic species evolving in obscurity. This is not fantasy. Evolution often preserves surprises in refuges. The coelacanth was thought extinct for 65 million years before appearing alive in modern oceans. That discovery changed how scientists view lost species forever. If oceans could hide such ghosts, what might the Amazon conceal? Perhaps nothing monstrous, but perhaps something astonishing. Then comes the Blackwater legend of the giant river predator. Some indigenous accounts speak of armored fish older than memory, ambush hunters lurking in deep channels. Scientists point out Amazonian waters once held enormous prehistoric predators. Most are long extinct. But fossils prove impossible creatures once ruled these rivers. Knowing that changes how legends sound. They no longer seem born entirely from imagination. They echo something ancient. There is also the terrifying reality of creatures small enough to be overlooked. Bullet ants whose sting is said to rival gunfire, flesh-burrowing parasites, swarms capable of stripping prey in minutes. In the Amazon, horror does not require giant monsters.
Ow.
Nature supplies enough. But mystery thrives in scale. In 2005, a scientific expedition exploring remote wetlands reported tracks, unlike anything expected in the area. Large impressions, unclear origin, no confirmed explanation, likely mundane. Yet even such fragments feed larger questions, because the Amazon's greatest trick is scale. It makes almost anything seem possible, and then sometimes delivers something close. Perhaps the most chilling reports come from river regions locals avoid after dark. Their stories persist of things surfacing beside boats, massive shapes displacing water in silence, some likely giant anacondas, some oversized caimans, some perhaps only fear moving through darkness, but fear has a way of sharpening old legends. One former fisherman described hearing breathing near his canoe at night in a flooded forest, slow, heavy exhalations circling in darkness. He paddled until dawn, never returned. Was it a manatee? A caiman? Something ordinary magnified by terror?
Exactly.
But uncertainty is where myths survive. There are even fringe theories that remote Amazon plateaus may shelter isolated species unknown to science. While sensational claims often collapse, the broader truth remains. New Amazon species are discovered constantly. Fish, mammals, amphibians, insects, reality keeps expanding. So why assume it has finished surprising us? Some of the strangest candidates are not giant beasts, but evolutionary oddities. Transparent fish in hidden streams, venomous mammals, amphibians with bizarre reproductive systems. Organisms so alien they seem invented. In many ways, these may be the true creatures that should not exist. Not because they are monsters, because they challenge expectation. Yet darker legends persist around the giant black caiman. Unlike ordinary caimans, these stories speak of ancient, oversized individuals surviving in forgotten oxbow lakes. Some accounts describe beasts large enough to attack boats. Modern biology treats such stories skeptically, but giant crocodilians once ruled prehistoric South America. Their descendants remain formidable. When people in the Amazon warn about water after dark, few laugh. Then there is perhaps the strangest idea of all, that some Amazon legends may arise from encounters with behaviors, not species. Familiar animals acting in ways so unexpected they appear monstrous. Massive, coordinated predation. Rare gigantism. Unseen nocturnal behavior. Sometimes mystery hides not in unknown creatures, but in known creatures doing unknown things. And perhaps that is even more unsettling, because it means we may share the jungle with mysteries already around us, simply misunderstood. Imagine navigating a moonless tributary, hearing movement beneath black water, seeing ripples too large for fish, knowing documented predators already exceed imagination. In that moment, legend feels less like fiction. It feels practical. Respect born from uncertainty. This is why stories of impossible Amazon creatures endure. Not because people believe dinosaurs roam the jungle, but because the rainforest repeatedly reminds us our knowledge is incomplete. It matters, especially in a place where the improbable often proves real in altered form. The Amazon does not need monsters from fantasy. It produces wonders stranger than fiction already. Yet still the question lingers. Are there creatures in the Amazon science has not imagined? Almost certainly. Are some far stranger than we expect? Very possibly. Could one day explorers document an animal so bizarre it sounds legendary? History suggests yes, because history keeps doing exactly that. Think of electric eels, glass frogs, vampire fish, giant otters, anacondas. Each sounds invented until seen. Reality is not less strange than myth. Often, it is stranger. And maybe that is why the jungle continues inspiring stories of impossible beasts. Because every legend contains a hidden confession. We know we have not seen everything. Somewhere tonight, under flooded roots and silent canopies, unseen eyes move through dark water. Unknown insects hunt in leaves. Predators follow trails no human will walk. Perhaps among them are species no scientist has named. Perhaps among them are truths hidden inside old monster stories. Or perhaps the real revelation is simpler. The Amazon itself is the impossible creature. Vast, ancient, alive, endlessly evolving beyond our grasp. Still, there is something haunting about imagining an expedition one day, capturing proof of some enormous relic predator, thought only legend, a shadow rising from Blackwater, species history misplaced, A living impossible. Ridiculous. Maybe, but so were many discoveries before evidence arrived. The jungle has a habit of humbling certainty. Some say monsters survive where maps end. More likely mysteries survive there. But sometimes mystery is enough to feel monstrous. And in the Amazon, where evolution still writes unfinished chapters, perhaps the most dangerous assumption is believing we already know every creature hiding in the dark. Because somewhere beyond the last surveyed tributary, where black rivers cut through ancient forest and moonlight barely touches the water, something may still move that science has never seen. Not supernatural, not prehistoric nightmare, simply unknown. And that may be the most unsettling possibility of all.